Welcome to the first real video, besides the introduction, in this new series that I'm doing on Seneca's letters to Lucilius. Basically, also known as Seneca's Moral Letters, or Stoic Philosophy 101. And what I'm going to do in this series is go over every single letter in Seneca's letters to Lucilius. Read it. And then we're going to break it down and give you some commentary. Kind of as I'm reading. You can think of this as a commentary on it. So, this is an interesting experiment. We'll see what happens. I'm going to just jump right into it in a second here, but first, I want to tell you, make sure you click the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Alright, so we're going to start on letter number 1, called On Saving Time. Here we go. Greetings from Seneca to his friend Lucilius. Continue to act thus, my dear Lucilius. Set yourself free for your own sake. Gather and save your time, which till lately has been forced from you, or filched away, or has merely slipped from your hands. Make yourself believe the truth of my words, that certain moments are torn from us, and some are gently removed. Okay, so some interesting stuff here. And that others glide beyond our reach. So, he's saying here that, certain moments are torn from us. This is very interesting. Some are gently removed, and others glide beyond our reach. So I think this is just a profound thing to think about. We have certain moments that basically get ripped from us. Certain times in our lives we don't realize that we're going to lose, and we lose something. Right? Those times that are precious to us. If you think about some of these memories, some of the times when you have it good, when you look on the back, the good days, some are gently removed. And so, over time, you're like, how did I get to where I am? How did I slowly drift in this direction I didn't want to go? And then others that glide beyond our reach. And so those are those things that, we could have had, but we don't have because we relaxed something, because we didn't realize that it was just beyond our reach. So, he says, the most disgraceful kind of loss, however, is that due to carelessness. Furthermore, if you will pay close heed to the problem, you will find that the largest portion of our life passes while we are doing ill, a goodly share while we're doing nothing, and the whole while we are doing that, which is not to the purpose. So, I want to break here again to talk about this. He says that the largest portion of our life passes while we're doing ill, and a goodly share while we're doing nothing. This is something really to think about. Think about the time that you have in your life, and think about how much of that time passes when you're doing ill. Now, what is doing ill? It's watching TV, it's watching movies, it's jacking off, it's doing all kinds of stuff that is not benefiting you or moving you towards the cause. He says here that, and the whole while we're doing that, which is not to the purpose. So, what is the purpose? What are you trying to do? If you don't know what your purpose is and what you're trying to accomplish, then you're going to spend a lot of your time doing ill, which is actually doing negative to your purpose. And then a goodly amount of time, like he says here, doing nothing at all, like having no purpose at all and having nothing. So if you don't have a purpose, you don't have a direction, and you're not aware of this, you can fall into this trap. And we all fall into this trap from time to time. So it's good to meditate on this and just to think about how much of your life is spent doing ill and how much doing nothing and what's left over and how could you change that proportion, right? And then when I think about my own life and I think about how much was spent doing ill, gosh, it really plagues me, right? How much time was spent playing Skyrim or Fallout, right? It seemed like fun, but it was doing ill. It was actually, maybe it's doing nothing. It's not doing nothing. It's doing less than nothing. How much time picking out and eating junk food? Or just, doing stupid stuff. Arguing with people. Getting emotionally involved in shit that doesn't matter to me. Right? All this stuff that was not moving me towards my purpose in life or what I wanted to accomplish. Those goals. And it relates right back to that other segment we talked about the moments. And this is the moments that glide beyond our reach. If you want to reach those moments that glide beyond your reach, the way to do that is to change your life so that you're not spending so much time focused on the things that are doing you ill and not being idle as well, but purposely choosing every day to move yourself towards that goal. Okay, but I think that's just really something to think about a lot too. What man can show me who places any value on his time, who reckons the worth of each day, who understands that he is dying daily? For we are mistaken when we look forward to death. The major portion of death has already passed. Whatever years be behind us are in death's hands. Again, another profound way of looking at the world. So what he's saying here is, he's basically saying who values a day, right? Who actually has a value of the day? Because, we're dying daily, right? Do you understand that you're dying daily? Not only that, but he takes it one step further and he says, guess what? Not only are you dying daily, not only is death coming, it's already come. A good portion of your life is already dead. You've already lost your life, right? Those years are gone. That's if you think about it, think of yourself as the candle, okay? And a lot of that candle is already burned. That's already dead, okay? It's gone. And so you're already partially dead. You don't have very much time left. You have a limited amount of time and you already have one foot in the grave. You're dying a little bit more each day. You're getting closer to that point. There's an inevitable point in history and time where you will be dead and you will cease to be able to function or exist as you do now. And to realize that, and that time is ticking down. Sometimes we think that we have infinite time, and that's not a good way to think. Okay, so whatever years are behind us are in death's hands. Very true. Therefore, Lucilius, do as you write me that you are doing. Hold every hour in your grasp. Lay hold too of today's tasks, and you will not need to depend so much on tomorrow's. While we are postponing, life speeds by. And this is another powerful concept. While we're postponing, life speeds by, right? So, don't postpone. Make sure that you're grasping today's tasks and don't let life pass you by. Because all of a sudden, remember those moments that slowly slip away from you? That's what will happen. In number 3, he says, nothing, Lucilius, is ours except time. We were entrusted by nature with the ownership of this single thing, so fleeting and slippery that anyone who will can oust us from its possession. What fools these mortals be! They allow the cheapest and most useless things, which can be easily replaced, to be charged in the reckoning after they have acquired them. But they never regard themselves as in debt when they have received some of that precious commodity, time. And yet, time is the one loan which even a grateful recipient cannot pay. So what he's saying here is, essentially, all this other shit that you think that you own, you don't own it. And the only thing that you actually have is time, right? And the reason why is because time can be traded for everything else. Time is what you use to generate money, to build a business, to build a life, to build a relationship. That's what you invest when you idly waste your time in entertainment to get gratification or satisfaction. It all requires time. Time is really the only resource that you have that's disposable to you. But we treat it as a disposable resource. We don't realize it. It's a loan. We can't pay that back. Like, you're not getting that back. So, a lot of us are not precious with our time, right? And this is what he's saying here is, you have to realize this is the only thing that you really have. You can't really control these other things. You can't really control your fortune, your fate, or have direct control. You're not allocated with a certain amount of money. But you do have in this life a certain amount of time, and you are in control of what you do with that time. Nothing else is really at your full disposal. Okay, so he says, number 4, you may desire to know how I, who preach to you so freely, am practicing. I confess frankly, my expense account balances as you would expect from one who is free-handed but careful. I cannot boast that I waste nothing, but I can at least tell you what I am wasting, and the cause and the manner of the loss. I can give you the reasons why I am a poor man. My situation, however, is the same as that of many who are reduced to slender means through no fault of their own. Everyone forgives them, but no one comes to their rescue. So, quick concept in here. He's basically saying, yeah, and actually, Seneca actually had a lot of money, but he's saying yeah, I can't tell you that I'm not wasting anything, but I can tell you where I'm wasting my time, or where I'm wasting my money in this case. But time and money, we can think about this the same way. Do you know where you're wasting your time? Do you know where you're wasting your money, right? You're not going to be perfect, but at least you can account for where you're wasting. Do you actually know this? Because if you don't, then you're ignorant. Then you don't know where the money is going. A lot of people that have financial problems, if you have financial problems, it's because you don't know where you're wasting it. Yeah. Again, you don't have to be super frugal. You don't have to be super strict. But can you at least account for where you're wasting it? Because once you can do that, then you will be less likely to waste it. It's the same thing. It's like when you have information, right? Stepping on the scale. I don't care if you don't like what it says. Having that knowledge is going to help you, because that's going to help steer your direction. Whereas, if you stick your head in the sand, you don't know what's going on. You don't look at your bank account. You don't look at your finances. You're going to be fucked, because you're purposely avoiding that information that would cause you to make a change. So, he says, number 5, this is the end of it. He says, what is a state of things then? It is this: I do not regard a man as poor if the little which remains is enough for him. I'll break this down a little bit here. He says, you're not poor if what you have is enough for you. And so this is a really important concept to understand, and it'll be revisited in these letters as well, and just in Stoic philosophy in general, is that it's not being wealthy that makes a man wealthy. Or wealthiness is not being rich, right? It's all about having what you need. So if you need less, if you desire less, then you can live on less. And you can be more rich than someone who has a lot of money, has a lot of resources, but desires more. To be in want is to be in want, right? You don't want to be. That's the unhappy. It doesn't matter how successful or how rich you are. If you want things that you cannot have, then you're not going to be happy, right? Then you're not really rich, okay? Whereas you could be poor as fuck, but you are satisfied with what you have. Doesn't mean that you don't have drive and ambition. Don't confuse that. But if you are satisfied with what you already have, grateful, we could say, then you're going to be rich. You're going to have a life that is rich because you're not in want of things. So this is a really important Stoic concept. I advise you, however, to keep what is really yours, and you cannot begin too early. What is really yours? Time. Okay? Right? Okay. For as our ancestors believed, it is too late to spare when you reach the dregs of the cask. When you have the bottom of the cask, it's too late. You can't now. You can't ration it. That's what he's saying. You can't ration shit at that point. Of that which remains at the bottom, the amount is slight, and the quality is vile. Farewell. So another really good, just to think about is that, when you're at the bottom of the cask, when you're at the end of your life, those last years, it's too late. Too late. You've already lost the time. And it's not so good now. You're old. Now you're shriveled. Now you don't have that ability that you have in your youth. All right. So that's it. That's a fairly long letter. There's some longer ones and some shorter ones in there. But it's a great way to start this off. And let me know. I want to get some feedback from you guys. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know your interpretations. Did I miss something here? And make sure you click the subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss any of the videos. I'm going to continue on the series. You want to have the bell clicked so you get the notifications, because I don't know when I'm going to be producing the next of these series. These are kind of longer videos, so I got to kind of ration this out and kind of play it how I feel and see what your feedback is on this as well. If it's worth the time. I feel like this is fun. This is, for some of you, you're like, this is fucking boring shit. But this is fun for me. And remember, even in a palace, it's possible to live well.